it's really important to know what investors want to see in your pitch deck, because the whole thing is that investors are actually reading multiple pitch decks every single day. So yours is not the only one that they're actually paying attention to. So if you want to increase your chances of having funding after the pitch deck, it's important to really know what investors really want to see in your document, in your presentation. So in my prologue here, I want to really understand, I want to explain to you the fact that when you think about pitch deck, I want you to think about a presentation process, but most importantly, it is a communication process. In other words, you are communicating with the investors, your capabilities as a team, as a founder, but also, most importantly, the kind of vision you have for your startup, okay? So that's important. If you want to communicate your business idea effectively, you got to have the right information in your pitch deck. Now, why do 99% of pitch decks fail? Because they don't have the right component. They actually also don't understand what the investors is looking for, right? What the investors are looking for. Because investors, again, going back to what I said a little earlier, investors are actually reviewing multiple pitch decks every single day. So crafting a successful pitch deck is actually a pretty, let's say, a pretty technical process, in the sense that you have to put a specific set of criteria. You have to include a specific set of criteria. If you don't include those criteria, you are going to have a high failure rate. So, firstly, many pitch decks lack the essential element of storytelling. That's actually 99%, 90% of the reasons why pitch decks fail. You got to really tell a story. Storytelling is really critical, because investors are really interested in your story, not just because of your ability to make money, but your ability to convince the market to actually follow your vision. Besides the storytelling issue, you also have a clear value proposition. In other words, how does your startup add value to the market? So value proposition, your USP, your unique selling proposition, has to be clear. If it's not clear, your pitch deck is going to fail. Also, you have another element, which is in terms of having a competitive analysis of your market. In other words, your pitch deck has no clear indication as to what the trends are in your niche, in your market. And finally, you have a poor design and presentation. So poor design and presentation, that's really the fourth element that could make your pitch deck fail. So now let me talk to you about what slides do you need to have in your pitch deck? Because the whole thing is that if you want to have a successful pitch deck, you want to increase your funding potential, your ability to be funded. First of all, you got to have the opening slide. Okay. Now, the one thing I want to say here is that every slide that I want to talk to you about into this conversation, every slide plays a crucial role in engaging and informing potential investors. Remember, investors are actually reviewing multiple pitch decks every single day. So, opening slide. The opening slide of your pitch deck serves as the gateway to capturing your audience's attention. Don't forget, first impression always are critical. It's actually an opening slide is your chance to make a memorable first impression with most investors and set the tone for the entire presentation. So this slide typically includes the name of your company or project, a compelling tagline or mission statement, and perhaps a striking visual elements that represents your brand or concept. Okay, that's important. Next slide, you have selling the problem. So selling the problem slide, that's an important slide also. So this slide within your pitch deck is where you outline and emphasize the issue or challenge your business is addressing. This is basically you're adding value, right? What's the pain point you're trying to solve? This slide is actually a pivotal moment to engage investors by clearly articulating the path point or need that your product or service aims to solve. If you remember a little earlier, I spoke to you about what? Actually, storytelling, right? So you've got to be in a situation where you are able to tell a story, a complete story. So the selling the problem slide should evoke empathy, and understanding regarding the problem's significance in the market or industry. And this can be, again, going back to storytelling, this can be achieved through a compelling story. So this part of your presentation is not really about highlighting your solution, but rather establishing the context and urgency behind your business. In other words, why is this problem critical at this moment? Again, you want to really look at the contextual elements surrounding the problem. So when you think about what investors actually want to see in your pitch deck, besides the opening slide and also the selling the problem slide, you also have providing the solution slide. Okay. So this slide actually is your opportunity to unveil how your business specifically addresses the previously established problem and how you will target customers, right? How are you going to monetize the whole proposition? And so this slide showcases your product or service as the solution to the identified pain points, providing a clear, innovative, and effective way to resolve the issues highlighted earlier. So this is kind of cool because if if you are in a niche that's very competitive, you have to really differentiate the solution you're providing and why your solution is better than others. Because one thing for sure, you're not the only solution in the market. That's for sure, right? But if you are able to articulate how your offering uniquely tackles the problem, you are able to emphasize its features. You're able to emphasize its advantages. You are able to actually draw a lot of investors to your side, if you will. You also have the market size and opportunity slide. This is a slide where you're telling the investors, hey, listen, we have a quantity that you will be interested in. You want to quantify your value proposition because see, an investor it's not a philanthropy, right? They're putting money. They want to really see a return on investment. So if you are able to quantify the opportunity, that's kind of cool. So basically, what happens here is that you are illustrating the target market and serviceable, obtainable market. So basically, you want to have an understanding of the market size, revenue growth potential, and the opportunities available for your products or service. So that's important from a scalability point of view. So this is where you showcase the addressable market, the target demographics, and any existing or potential trends that can benefit your business. So that's important in the long run. So that's the scalability part of things. So when you think about what investors actually want to see in your pitch deck, so besides the opening slide, the selling the problem slide, the providing us the solution slide, the market size and opportunity slide, you also have the POE slide. So that's actually traction, proof of execution. And you also have the business model slide. Let me first talk about the proof of execution. And again, this proof of execution doesn't matter the state you're in or the country you're in. Investors want to really see traction across your specific addressable geography. So this proof of execution slide within your pitch deck is actually the moment to provide concrete evidence that your business has gained traction and made progress. It's not about an idea, right? It's a way beyond the idea stage. Now it's something concrete. So on this slide, what you want to do is you want to showcase your achievements, your milestones, and any validated proof that your product or service is gaining traction in the market. Remember, an investor is not a philanthropy. They want to be able to get money from their investment. So they want to make sure they are investing in something that's getting traction. So the proof of execution slide actually might include data on user growth, revenue figures, partnerships, key achievements, successful pilot programs, customer testimonials, or any significant metrics that validate your business's progress and potential success. So this is one of those things where you want to really you want to provide comfort to the investor that he or she is doing the right thing. Next, you have the business model slide. This is where you actually articulate the go-to-market strategy and how your company will generate revenue and sustain itself. So here, what you want to do is, in terms of business model, you want to talk about things like your revenue streams, financial metrics, your cost structures, the pricing strategies, the distribution channels, and if you're lucky to have key partnerships with industry with let's say major industry players, you can also incorporate that here, right? So that will help you actually convince investors that your business model is actually sustainable. If you think about what investors actually want to see in your pitch deck, you have another slide that's going to be very quintessential. That's meet the team slide. So, but let's say behind every startup, you have a team, the core team, the primary team, the historical team, or the founder team. Okay, so this slide is really quintessential in the sense that it really helps you showcase the expertise, experience, and capabilities of your management team, not just the regular team, but the management team. So you want to really show here an overview of key team members, their roles, and their relevant backgrounds. And please make sure that you emphasize how their collective skills and experience align with the company's vision and goals, right? So you want to really instill confidence in investors by showcasing a strong team equipped to execute the business plan effectively. Because otherwise, if you have let's say if you have a good business plan, right, but you don't have the right team to kind of help you execute it, you can't. This is really nothing. It's a waste of your time, or a waste of the investor's time also. You also have the purpose of the pitch deck slide. So this is actually the ask. If you remember, this is actually the last slide actually. So the ask slide elucidates the primary reason for your presentation, the investment or funding request, right? How much you really want and why. So this slide clarifies the purpose of your pitch and the specific amount or type of investment you are seeking. So the ask slide outlines, let's say, how much funding you're asking, the funds, how the funds will be utilized. Because see, the thing is, investors want to make sure you're using their cash appropriately. So how the funds will be utilized, whether for product development, market expansion, team growth, or any other specific use, they want to be sure they're using the cash appropriately. So that's important. And also, this slide is the capstone of your pitch, signaling the culmination of your presentation and inviting investors to consider participating in your venture, right? So that's important from a credibility point of view. So let me give you other factors here. When you think about what investors actually want to see in your pitch deck, it's important to understand that investors are really putting themselves in a cycle, right? They'll invest money, but then they have to wait for your business model to be monetized, if you will, to actually show revenue, consistent revenue, for them to actually exit or just stay in, but at least monetize in some way, shape, or form. One thing for sure, you got to really think about the presentation, because everything I told you, the opening slide, selling the problem, providing the solution, market size and opportunity, proof, sorry about that, proof of execution, business model, meet the team, or purpose of the pitch. The thing is that if you don't have proper presentation, and again, by presentation, I'm talking about the verbal aspect of things, but also the visual aspect of things. In other words, the presentation itself, the visuals, and how and who will present, right? You gotta really be sure that the person is comfortable talking in public, is comfortable talking to investors. Okay, so it's one of those things where you have to understand that the content within each slide should be self-explanatory, providing a clarity and context without reliance on verbal explanation. The key things here is brevity. Okay, you want to be concise, you want to be precise. So concise and informative text, along with complementary visuals, should effectively convey the message. In other words, don't really write too much, don't talk too much. You want to have clear headlines, you want to have bullet points, you want to have visuals, you want to have, like, it has to be brief, but most importantly, it has to be potent, okay? And don't forget, when I speak about presentation, you want to have a pitch deck that has a logical sequence and narrative, ensuring that the story and key elements remain coherent even without the presenter's guidance. Remember, storytelling is not just a matter of pitches. It's not a matter of let's say slides. It's a matter of logic. It's a logical matter. Okay. Investors often revisit pitch decks post presentation, so the deck should contain enough substantial content to evoke a strong, lasting impression and communicate the core business concepts effectively. And again, the whole thing is that you want to make sure that you are going straight to the point. Okay. You want to encapsulate key points. You want to tell a compelling story. You want to offer comprehensive information so that investors can revisit and comprehend the essence of your business anytime they want to. So when I speak about what investors actually want to see in a pitch deck, one thing I want to say here is that investors sometimes might want to see more slides than the one that I just listed for you, right? I listed about 8 slides. You might have more, depending on the niche you're in, depending upon the business model you're going after, depending on your products or services. So it really depends. I mean, while the core slides in your pitch deck offer a fundamental overview of your business, many investors may require more detail for a more comprehensive assessment, especially if you are asking for millions of dollars in funding or tens of millions of dollars. Okay. So basically, investors might want to see, for instance, detailed financial projections, a comprehensive business plan, extensive market research, product demonstrations or prototypes, legal documents, and customer testimonials, especially if they want to really validate whether or not the product or service has gained traction already, right? So customer testimonials will really provide a glimpse into that traction. The whole idea here is what? Investors want to be as, let's say, cautious as possible. So they want to have materials that provide a deeper understanding of your business's financial viability, your strategy, your market position, your product functionality, legal standings, and customer validation. So it's one of those things where you have to be ready, okay? So make sure that you are equipped with this supplementary materials so you can enhance investor confidence. You could also be ready for the due diligence, because investors are not going to give you millions of dollars without doing their due diligence. So also be sure that you are able to substantiate any claims that you made during the initial pitch, right? It's all about credibility. It's all about the trust. It's all about reliability. Okay. That's important. Now, finally, what I want to say here is that remember that you have, you can use templates. You have a lot of software tools that allow you to really have a professional pitch deck real fast. Sorry. You can have a professional pitch deck real fast. Okay. You can have custom templates, or you can just reach out to a company that does the. You have companies that actually prepare and design pitch decks for startups. It really depends on how comprehensive you want your pitch deck to be, or what kind of info you want to have investors review. But no matter what you do, remember that you want to really focus on storytelling, right? You are telling a story, and you want your story to be logical. You want your story to be potent. That's all it is. So in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about what investors actually want to see in your pitch deck. So I explained to you why do 99% of pitch decks fail. The slides that investors want to see, the opening slide, selling the problem, providing the solution, market size and opportunity, proof of execution, business model, meet the team, and the ask. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.